What's up, everybody? You're watching Joe Box TV. It's time for the trilogy. The third fight between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin this Saturday night. It's gonna be a big one. This fight has been 4 years in the making. First fight I thought Triple G won handily, as did most boxing experts. Second fight was very close. Canelo adjusted his style, came forward, put pressure on him. Triple G also adjusted, and I thought out-jabbed him and out-boxed him. But it was very close, and ultimately the judges leaned in Canelo's favor. So where are they both at now heading into tonight? Well, Canelo Alvarez, if you haven't heard, has been on a tear. He's the undisputed super middleweight champion, having defeated Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, and Abney Yildirim. And up until May, at least, this past May, he was widely considered the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, with a very exciting come-forward style, always aggressive, yet also a great counter-puncher, and he's added new wrinkles to his game since the second Triple G fight. Terrific head movement, ability to make his opponent miss, all while coming forward and grinding them down. As it pertains to what went down this past May, he went up to light heavyweight, where he had only fought once before. He did go up in weight and knock out Sergey Kovalev. So it wasn't his first time, but still relatively unfamiliar territory for Canelo. He goes up to light heavyweight and fights a legitimate top 2 contender and title holder in Dimitri Bivol, who had the perfect game plan, perfect strategy, just ultimately out-jabbed him, and it was a big upset. A lot of boxing pundits just underestimated Bivol, and he had the perfect strategy, which was to keep him on the end of the jab, keep changing angles, and smother his attacks when Canelo got close. I don't think it had too much to do with weight. I think it was more of the game plan. So, going into this third fight with Triple G tonight, how will he adjust? Is he still going to display that same confidence and willingness to come forward and try and walk an opponent down? Or will he be a little bit more methodical? Now, as it pertains to Triple G, he hasn't been on the destructive reign that he was before the Canelo fights, but in the 4 years since their second fight, he has had some solid wins. He knocked out Steve Rolls of Canada and Kamil Szeremeta of Poland. Those were mostly get-back fights, tune-up fights, and he did have a very close, debatable decision against Sergey Derevyanchenko in an action-packed fight. He dropped Derevyanchenko, but could have gone either way. This past April, over in Japan, he had an absolute war with Ryota Murata. I thought he did show signs of aging. He got hit a lot. Murata is a very aggressive, non-stop puncher, high-volume puncher, and Triple G took a lot of shots, but of course, as we know, Triple G displayed a tremendous chin and heart, and was able to just wear him down with that piston-like jab, wear him down to the body, and just get the stoppage in the 10th round. And there is questions here. He's 40 years old now, fighting in a weight that he's never fought at before. So even though I scored both of the first 2 fights in favor of Triple G, as did most, I find myself genuinely wondering, has he made the adjustments that he needs to make in order to be successful and get that first official victory over Canelo? We know Canelo's improved. Even despite the loss this past May, he just feels like a different fighter with superior head movement than he had 4 years ago. And I feel like he's even stronger now. Question is he going to be able to take away Triple G's jab? I do feel like his head movement has improved enough to where he will at least be more successful with the jab. And ultimately, I think the strength advantage, not necessarily a power advantage, but strength advantage will help him kind of muscle Triple G backwards. I believe that when Triple G made the adjustment, the trainer switch from Abel Sanchez to Jonathan Banks, he was of the mindset that he wanted someone who can help him control range better, control distance, and fight off the jab even more effectively, because that's Triple G's biggest strength, I feel like. We all know he's a terrific knockout puncher, but ultimately he has one of the best jabs in boxing. And Jonathan Banks has that Kronk gym approach that a lot of their fighters use when you think of Thomas Hearns, Vladimir Klitschko, fighters who trained under Emanuel Stewart, the late great Emanuel Stewart. They typically have that sort of approach. And I think that's what Triple G's doing here. I think at age 40, he realizes, hey, I can't just walk everybody down now and solely rely on my knockout power. He's always been a good technical fighter, but I think he wants to put more of an emphasis on boxing from the outside now. Thus the adjustments he made in the second fight. The question is, will he land enough eye-catching shots to impress the judges? And I honestly feel like Canelo's going to land the more eye-catching shots, the harder, more devastating shots. I do want to mention there is some backlash to this fight happening. People feel like after the Bivol loss that Canelo should have fought David Benavidez or Jermall Charlo or Demetrius Andrade. But when you think about the fact that most people, including myself, thought Triple G won both of the first two fights, and he hasn't lost since then, and you just look at the resume of Triple G and the number of title defenses he's had, I think this is absolutely the right fight to make. And you kind of have to make it now, as Triple G's 4 years old, and this might be the last time, the last big fight that we see Triple G in. So I think the timing is perfect on this one. I think everything has kind of panned out for this to be the right time. And even though fighters like Demetrius Andrade, Jermall Charlo, and David Benavidez certainly have a worthy case, I don't think they have the resume just yet to deserve a shot. Perhaps they are next up if Canelo is successful tonight. I think even though Triple G has shown signs of aging, getting hit a little bit more, a little bit slower on his feet, I still think he has everything it takes to make this an interesting fight. I was watching a video from Rummy's Corner, credit to him, one of my favorite boxing channels, you can go check him out. He pointed out, very similarly, when Manny Pacquiao was on a tear between, I think it was 2009 and 2011, just beating everyone with these elite fighters. Meanwhile, Manuel Marquez had lost to Floyd Mayweather and kind of had showed signs of aging. And they thought, okay, even though the first two fights were close, this fight is going to be a wipeout and Pacquiao's going to walk right through him. But ultimately, Marquez had the right style to be competitive with Pacquiao. And then we saw it happen in the fourth fight. Could we see the same here? I think it's very possible. And when he mentioned that, I was like, oh my goodness, that really registers that this is a very similar scenario. And I think on Saturday night, boxing fans will see that Triple G still has the style to be competitive with Canelo. And I think he'll win a lot of rounds on the jab. I think ultimately Canelo's ability to create opportunities to counter will prove to be superior. And he seems fresher right now. Even coming off of a loss, he still has youth on his side. He'll be stronger. And again, I think he lands cleaner, better shots and will come away with a very close decision victory. I don't think he's going to stop him. I think Triple G has the heart to stay in there. I do think it could get ugly in the late rounds. If by chance he does stop Triple G, I can tell you right now, it's probably not going to be with a headshot. It will be with a body shot. I have seen Ryota Murata hurt him with body shots. And I think it's very possible we could actually see a knockdown on a body shot, but I don't think he stops Triple G. I'm going to go with Canelo Alvarez by a close but unanimous decision. I'm just going to give my quick undercard predictions here. I think Jesse Bam Rodriguez is going to continue to prove that he's one of the best up-and-coming rising stars in boxing. And I think he stops Israel Gonzalez by a late stoppage and mostly dominates throughout, although Gonzalez will show heart. Gabriel Rosado versus Ali Akhmedov. I'm a big Gabriel Rosado fan. I think he fights with heart and makes it entertaining every time, no matter who he's facing. But ultimately, I think youth is on Akhmedov's side. Rosado has surprised us at times, but I think Akhmedov is going to be a little bit too sharp and technically sound at this stage of their respective careers. I'm going with Akhmedov by a close decision. And finally, I think Austin Williams stops Kieran Conway. Let me know what you guys think of the whole card, primarily the main event. Until next time, JoeBox TV out.